What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Nemo Propaganda here. Now, back in 2023, when I first reviewed the original version of the CHoco EMEI, I said it was the best amplifier I had ever reviewed under $2,000, and it went on to be one of my products of the year. This is the new 2024 version with the 2024 upgrades. Do I feel the same way? No. I feel the new version is the best amplifier I've ever reviewed under $3,000, and we're going to talk about that more in just a little bit here. So what are the 2024 upgrades? Let's cover that real quick. So V-shaped capacitors now. Inside you have nicer binding posts on the outside, obviously around back, and there's some added protection and some, minor tuning and such. They say they did, right? So those are the upgrades, but y'all know Nemo Propaganda doesn't care about the nitty gritty. I don't care about what's inside the product. I just care what it sounds like and if it's any good, and that's what we're going to talk about. So let me get those main specs on screen so you guys can check that out. I'll tell you about the specs and standout features I care about, what I like about this product, if I have any criticisms, what it sounds like, if I didn't already say that, how it paired with speakers, anything you might need to know, and then we'll do some comparisons, of course, and then we'll wrap up the video. So, look, it's right here. Small amp, love that. Beautiful billet aluminum casework, looks fantastic. Pictures do not do this amplifier justice. You have got to see it in person. Oh my goodness, guys, listen, I got to just stop and tell you real quick. I got some crazy tinnitus going right now in this left ear. It's screaming at me. Oh my God, it's such a bummer. I hate that, but it is what it is. Anyways, let me get back to the video. I got sidetracked, sorry. Beautiful OLED screen up front. Now, I know some guys have said, I don't like OLED screens. I'm worried they're going to burn out, this and that. You can turn this thing down a lot, guys. I can't imagine it burning out on anyone. I've got a lot of OLED screens in my home. As long as you keep them, relatively dim, like I've never had a problem. Guys, I'll play video games on my OLED upstairs and I'll pause the game and I'll leave it paused for like an hour or two. I do this all the time. No issues, no problems. My Live Harmony DAC uses an OLED screen. Hagel H190 uses an OLED screen. A lot of products use an OLED screen. Guys, the tech has come a long way. Don't worry about that kind of stuff, okay? But yeah, the casework, the size, the power output, 138 watts a channel, those are the most impressive things. Those are the most impressive things about this amp. I used a bunch of different speakers, whether they were easy to drive, like my Platamon, sounded fantastic, or harder to drive, like the new Bucart E50. I have those in for review. That speaker needs a little bit of power. The CHoco EMEI was able to deliver without issue. ATC SCM19, that's another speaker I have in for review that does need quite a bit of power. EMEI was able to drive them, no issue, no problem. But let's talk about what it sounds like, right? And I'll try to compare it to the previous model as well in just a little bit here. So the CHoco EMEI with the 2024 upgrades, the new version, right? You got a high frequency region that is mostly neutral. Some people might say it's a little warm or dark. I'd say the previous model was slightly relaxed. I described it as neutral in my review, but I'd say it's slightly relaxed in hindsight. The new version seems to give us just a little bit more air, just a little bit more sparkle. Still mostly neutral. This is not pumped up treble whatsoever, mostly neutral. Some people might describe it as ever so slightly dark side of neutral. I don't know if I would disagree with that. I'd say it's mostly neutral. Great air, great space, a lot of refinement. That's one of the key areas where I believe the CHoco EMEI does compete with products that are up to almost twice its price. Refinement in the high frequencies. What I mean by that is you get good resolution, you get good detail, good air, good space, good separation, good expansiveness. And you could listen at fairly loud volumes and you don't even notice you're listening at loud volumes. There's no fatigue. It's so easy on the ears. It's like when you're driving in a nice car, like let's say a Mercedes-Benz S-Class or a 7 Series BMW. You can drive in that car on the highway at 100 miles an hour, and those cars have so much refinement, it doesn't feel like you're driving 100 miles an hour. It feels like you're going 65, you know what I mean? So that's what the EMEI does in the high frequencies. Absolutely phenomenal. Definitely punches above its weight. Let's talk about its mid-range. Warmer, more tonally rich, holographic, good size soundstage. Lot of realism. The mid-range is all about tunefulness and tonal texture and warmth. It's not crazy warm, right? It's not It's not like the warmest amp in the world, but it certainly is on the warm side of neutral with good holographics. And again, the holographics of this amp is another area that I feel it punches above its weight. And I'll give you an example. The EMEI has holographics on par with my $6,000 separates, my Kinky Studio preamp and monoblock amps. Now, just to be clear, my $6,000 separates do a lot of things the EMEI can't do. They have even more resolution, even more refinement, you know what I mean? And of course, I mean, it's a lot more expensive, but if we're just talking holographics, the EMEI brings it to the table, man. That soundstage depth is fantastic. Moving down to the bass region, look, the amp's got plenty of power. It's not going to have any problems with the bass region. It's a linear affair. It doesn't artificially boost any frequencies, and that's the type of sound I like in the bass region. So we got a fantastic amplifier that does certainly punch above its weight. Let me give you some examples of products that I do think it can outperform that are a little bit more expensive, because I've said this for years. Guys, look at me, be with me now. If a reviewer tells you a product punches above its weight, but they don't give you specific examples, come on now. How are we supposed to believe them? How are we supposed to believe them? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't add up. It's like you're just gassing shit up for no reason. You got to give us examples of the reviewers. You got to do better. I hate seeing that. I get so frustrated, y'all, because I'm like you guys. I watch reviews too, and man, I'll see someone be like, man, this thing competes with stuff up to 10 grand. Like what? Tell me, like what? I want to know, because that's a bold claim to make. You got to back it up. So Nemo Propaganda is going to back it up for you. So Prima Luna Evo 100, that's a great little integrated tube amp. It's a good performer. I'm not saying it's bad by any means, but with its standard tube complement, I believe it clocks in around $2,600, might be $2,800, I'm not sure. The EMEI at under $1,700 absolutely beats it out in every single category, whether we're talking about resolution, refinement in the treble, separation, even holographics. Yes, the CHoco EMEI has better holographics than a tube amp in this specific example. Bass control, of course, it could play substantially louder. It has more dynamic headroom than the Evo 100. And that's, you know, of course, we got to understand that that's a tube amp. It's got like 40 watts a channel. Now, of course, with the Prima Luna Evo 100, you start adding some exotic tubes in there. You certainly can, you know, really change things and level up that amp. But I'm just talking like unmodified, $2,600 or so, EMEI $1,700 or so. EMEI is the clear winner. If you're going to buy the Evo 100 and not put some exotic tubes in it, just buy the EMEI instead. Trust me. Let's talk about some other amplifiers that the EMEI is on par with at minimum, right? I'm not going to say it's not going to beat everything, but it's going to be on par with quite a few. Hagel H190. Yeah, Hagel H190 is a good performer. It's a little expensive at about $4,000. And I know some of you guys have said, I feel like it could be a few $100s cheaper, and I might agree with that, but that's another story. That's an amp that's $4,000, and a lot of people like that amp. It's does a lot right. Now, the Hagel H190 does give us quite a bit more features, right? But if we're talking about just sound quality, the EMEI, it's neck and neck with it. It is absolutely neck and neck. If we want to talk about case quality, the EMEI actually has superior case quality and build quality overall. It just does. What else? Let's talk about the Galleon TS120 Special Edition real quick. That's a tube amp I really like. Very, very powerful muscular sound. Tonally, the two amps are very different. The Galleon is going to give us a sharper, high-frequency region. It's a little bit on the forward side of neutral. Both have good holographics in the mid-range. The Galleon TS120 SE is going to give us a little bit more holographics in this situation. Both amps, really good bass control. EMEI is going to be able to play louder. And what I'm really trying to get at here is these two amps are both really good. That Galleon TS120 SE is about $4,500. They're close, man. They're close. The Galleon, I'll be honest, in this example, the Galleon TS120 SE is the winner. It is. I got to admit that. But damn, the EMEI comes close. It comes shockingly close. So let me tell you some criticism. Wish it had subwoofer outputs. Now, when I reviewed the 2023 EMEI, I did mention how, look, hey, for $20 with a line out converter, you can add subwoofer outputs to just about any amp. And I'll go ahead and link that video in the description below. I did a whole video on that. It's like a 7-8 minute video. And while it's super easy to do, I still wish this amp had subwoofer outputs. I'm a big subwoofer user, but at the end of the day, you can always use something like a REL T7X, T9X, or something like that, or any other sub that accepts a high level signal, or you could use my line out converter method, linked in the video description below. I wish it came with a nicer remote control. The remote control is not bad by any means, but it doesn't match the beautiful casework of this amplifier. But I understand they're trying to hit a price point here. This amp's under $1,700, and they're trying to save money anywhere they can to get that crazy price for the customer. So I get it. I don't think it's possible for CHoco Sound to add a subwoofer output or to give us a nicer remote without raising the price. So while I have those criticisms, it's okay, because I would rather have the lower price. I think most of us would rather have the lower price. Let me think if there's anything else here that you might need to know. Okay, it does run warm. Don't be alarmed. When I was first using it, I was running the, I can't remember actually if it was the ATC SCM19s or the Bucard E50s. Both need some power, and I was breaking them in, so I'd been running them for a few hours. I touched it, and I was like, ooh, we could almost cook an egg on it. I laser temped it. I sent it to the guys at Vinshine Audio. You know, that's the master distributor for CHoco Sound. And I was like, hey, this thing's running a little hot. Is this okay? And they're like, it's fine. That is totally fine. That is well within the norm. The amplifier can absolutely handle it. You've got nothing to worry about. But I know some people, you know, for one reason or another, you don't like owning products that get, you know, pretty warm. Did it turn into a space heater in my room? No. No, it definitely didn't start to warm up my room the way tube amp would. But for one reason or another, if that's something you care about, like I wouldn't put a candle on top of it, right? But it's not going to harm children. It doesn't get that hot. Okay, so hope that helps. That's it for my criticisms. I like this amp a lot. It's small, looks great. It's built like a freaking tank. It sounds phenomenal. And the level of refinement and holographics, sorry guys, hold on. The level of refinement and holographics you get for the money are crazy good. Crazy. I had a little brain stutter there. It happens, guys. I freestyle these videos. I don't know if you know that. I think sometimes people think I'm like looking at a script, but pay attention. I'm like looking all over the places I do these videos, guys. There's no script. I'm just shooting from the hip. There's nothing planned. I sit down and I just share from the heart. I tell you guys about the product and what I like about it. And in the few situations where I have some criticism, I share that with you guys too. So look, it's this simple. If you've got a budget of less than $3,000, the CHoco EMEI should make your short list. It should be something you strongly consider, but let's, not forget it is a purist piece. There's no balance control. There's no tone control. There's no internal DAC. Every single penny CHoco Sound uses to manufacture this product goes to sound quality. And every penny you use to buy this product goes to its sound quality. No features. This is a purist amp, and I do tend to be a fan of purist amps. I feel like they always sound considerably better than full-featured amps at the same price point. So it is a little bit of a trade-off, but I'm a sound quality purist, and I am more than happy to give up some features to have absolutely superior sound for the money. What I have found generally, and I'm not saying this is true across the board, but it does seem like if you have a really good high quality purist amp, like something like the Kinky Studio EX-M1 or the CHoco Sound EMEI, right? If you want the same sound quality with a full featured amp that has like tone controls, a DAC, a phono, and all that kind of stuff, you have to spend anywhere from 50% more to 100% more, right? That's just what I've noticed. So it's not a bad trade-off. Guys, I think that's the review. I think I've told you just about everything I wanted to tell you about the new CHoco 2024 EMEI. You don't have to specify the upgrades if you're buying it from Vinshine Audio. Every single unit they have in stock is the new 2024 version with the upgraded caps, binding posts, and added protection. If you got any questions, this YouTube channel does have a free Discord server, and I do implore you to use it, especially if your question requires some back and forth. In the Discord server, you could share a picture of your room, and it's just a lot easier to communicate. Now, if you just want to say what's up or ask a really simple question, by all means, feel free to use the YouTube comments below. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Until next time, take care.